Signature Brands is located here in Ocala, Florida. We manufacture cake decoration products. We're licensed through General Mills under the Betty Crocker name. We have our own brand, which is called Cake Mate. And then we have 3 subsequent seasonal products, which is popcorn, pumpkin, and paws. As far as the customer base, actually we service like 90% of the grocery trade in the United States.
For years and years, the Signature Brands has felt like voice picking from Vocolect would be a great fit with our business. We know that we're unique in that we have to have a picker stop at the pick bin and pick up multiple cases of this and multiple cases of that and be directed to the next pick bin, and we had very cumbersomely done that with paper in the past.
Some of the things that we ran into is we had a lot of gross errors on inventory. Inventory has always been a challenge because you go up there, everything was done by paper, you do a transaction, you bring it into the office, you take it back out, you do a cycle count, you go to pick and the product's not there. Material handlers would forget to put in a transaction, or the transaction was keyed into the incorrect location or things of that nature. So our error rate was significantly higher than what we see it today.
When we decided that we were going to implement SAP, it was the perfect fit. It was the perfect time to go ahead and do voice picking. While the SAP project was a huge burden on the company, as all implementations are, and yes, we did add more, and yes, it was difficult and a lot of pressure, it really, looking back, was the best time to do it because people really didn't know the difference between SAP and voice picking. The training was all done in succession in the same sequence. The consultants were all on site at the same time. We had specialists from sales and distribution and warehouse management and our RF support to support our multiple kinds of picking. We have very different kinds of picking here. Some are full pallet picks and some are case picks, which the voice picking supports. When we chose how to put our check digits on our bins, we took some advice from one of the sites that we had visited when we were doing some final reviews of Vocolect. And what they said was employees who are used to picking from the same bins for years and years, they know the check digits. They are able to get lazy and they don't have to read them. So we made a 5-digit check digit. And we can easily switch that with Vocolect from the first 3 or the middle 3 or the last 3. So if we feel our pickers are getting too complacent and that leaves more room for error, then we can change the check digit.
581.
Pick 5.
As far as Vocolect is concerned, once we went live, Vocolect pretty much ran itself. For a large part, the support team was like the Maytag repairman for us. We didn't need them very often.
I think one of the things about Signature Brands that was really a good fit for Vocolect is their business being very seasonal, spikes in their output of the DC, and the need to bring people in short notice time, get them up to speed, and get product out the door.
Signature Brands is unique in that we have a production facility just a few miles away, and we actually share employees all the time.
We've trained up to 30, 35 people on the systems relatively easily. A lot of the people that come over here and pick are not full-time warehouse and distribution people. They're production people. So even though you have a staff over here of about 12 people that would use it on a regular basis, we can pull staff out of production on the second and third shifts and still get the same results.
And they can come over, put on a headset, they've recorded their voice file, could be up to a year or more ago, and they're gone. They pick orders. And they're just as efficient as the people who are here all the time.
The Vocolect solution is very easy to use. It's very simple to train and learn, and somebody who's never used it before in a matter of an hour or two can start picking an order. And not just picking an order, but picking it at the standards that the customer holds them accountable for. So things like their accuracy targets, their productivity targets. So the Vocolect solution was a very good fit for Signature Brands' needs.
Voice works for us, SAP works for us. We don't work for it. A lot of times you get new systems in, new technologies, and you're a slave to it till you master it. So we've been able, within a year, we've accomplished both goals.
I think when we started out with our ROI, we actually were looking at probably about a year and a half based upon figures. And one of the things that's very difficult is to apply numbers from somebody else's business to your own to come up with an ROI. But because of the nature of this particular project, you know, we had to just take other people's numbers and say, okay, these seem reasonable to us. So we were looking at about a year and a half. I think in reality, we probably paid this back in about 7 months.
We have seen several pickups in our business from implementing Vocalect. One of them is our inventory error rate has reduced by 80%. That is a significantly quick payback. One of the other ones is we're far more efficient in picking. We can pick more with less picking hours. In fact, one of our measurements that we use personally within our company is how many man hours per dollar shipped. Now, I can't really share that number with you, but what I can share with you is mid-year this year, after 1 year on SAP and 1 year on Vocalect, we increased that by 20%. And within 2 months, we've made it.
I would highly recommend putting a voice picking into your warehouse. It really saves us time, and I know if you save time, you definitely save money. So it's been really been advantageous for us. The pain of maybe rearranging your pick bins is well worth it. It's a small price to pay for the benefit at the end, the payback. So it's really been helpful for us.